Hi guys, and welcome to my channel Cricket Broadcast. I hope you guys are all doing well. I am also doing well. Thank you. Um, Guys, today I want to talk about something very special. I actually want to give you my all-time Test 11. So, Test cricket has been there for a very long time now, and there have been many great players who have played this game. It would just be very unfair for me to only pick my top 11, but unfortunately there could only be 11 players on the field. So from a pool of uncountable legends, I was, and some of my favorite players, I have a list of you know top 11 players in the order which I feel they should come to bat or bowl. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and get started. My opener would be Matthew Hayden, and as you all know, he is from Australia. So I mean, you don't need an introduction for this guy. He started off his career actually very early, but then for some reason he was not able to, because of his poor form or some other issues, he was not able to play for Australia for a very long time. But then he made his comeback into the Australian team, I think in the 1999 or 2000 series against India, and that was a series that changed his career forever. He went on to score a lot of runs in that test series that Harbhajan Singh took a lot of wickets, which also shaped his career. But Matthew Hayden scored a lot of runs in test series against India, and he actually scored a lot of runs in the one day series that followed as well. He opened the innings in both the formats. So from there, I think he played for Australia consistently up until 2007, 2008, and he, along with Justin Langer at the top of the order, were at that time most feared opening pair. They scored a lot of runs. They actually gave the momentum to for the rest of the players, you know, to go ahead and score runs. So my number one pick would definitely be Matthew Hayden. My number two would be Saeed Anwar from Pakistan. So, I mean, Saeed Anwar was, according to me, the most classical left-handed batsman to have ever played this game. Even though his numbers are not astronomical, but his style of play was something that I fell in love with while I was growing up. Um, I followed him, especially after his innings of 194 against India. He scored a lot of runs, against Australia in Australia, which is are known to be one of the most difficult conditions to bat in. So, my number two choice would definitely be Saeed Anwar, because of his classical style of play. Even though generally you always prefer left hand right hand combination, but you know because of the special skills that these player had, I'm okay picking up both the left handers at the top of the order. My number three pick would be Jack Ellis from South Africa. Jack Ellis, he, according to some, is the greatest all-rounder to have ever played the game of cricket. He was a phenomenal pick into the South African side. He started playing, I think, around the 95-96 season for South Africa, and then he went on to play up until 2013, I believe. I think his last test was against India, in which he also scored a century. So he has 40 plus test centuries. One of the very few batsmen to score 10,000 plus runs in test cricket as well as one day cricket. Very stylish batsman. I mean, he was a he was an amazing player. He used to bowl long spells and then come to bat at the top of the order. He was a formidable number three batsman for South Africa for a very very long time, and scored a lot of runs, took a lot of wickets, and that's why many term him to be the greatest all-rounder of all time. My number four pick would be Sachin Tendulkar from India. Even though India has produced a lot of amazing test cricketers, I think Sachin Tendulkar deserves a place no matter what type of playing 11 you choose. He is, by many historians, I mean cricket historians, he's termed as, or recognized as the greatest batsman to have ever played this game of cricket. Even though Don Bradman is recognized to be the greatest, but Sachin Tendulkar isn't far behind. He has the highest number of runs in one-day cricket and Test cricket. Scored 100 centuries in total, 100 international centuries in total. I think it was 49 in one days and 51 in tests. So he scored a lot of runs against pretty much every single opposition, both in home conditions and away conditions. He actually used to enjoy a lot playing against Australia in Australia. When they had one of the most formidable bowling attack in the form of Glenn McGrath, Shane Warne, Jason Gillespie, and so on, and Brett Lee. So my number four pick would definitely be Sachin Tendulkar. My number five pick would be Australian great Ricky Ponting. Again, this guy needs no introduction. One of the greatest players to have ever played the game. Scored 10,000 runs in both one day and test crickets. I think he's number three in the list of players who scored the maximum number of centuries. So I would definitely rate Ricky Ponting at on number five. He actually played for number three for Australia for a very long time in both one day international and test cricket. And he was not only he was somebody who could rotate the strike and also hit the ball outside of the park. He was an explosive batsman when the time was needed, but he could also rotate the strike, pretty much play in all the conditions, both away and on home. So, and he also has the experience of leading the Australian team to two cricket World Cup victories. So, and he was a part of the 99 cricket winning World Cup. So definitely somebody to have in your team. My number six would be my favorite Sri Lankan player, from Sri Lanka, Mahela Jayawardene. Again, one of the few players to score hundreds and 10,000 plus runs, sorry, in both one-day internationals and Test cricket. I remember his innings. I think it was against South Africa where he scored, a triple century. I think he scored 374 before he was out. I mean, one of the most recognized middle order batsmen, along with Kumar Sangakkara, who used to play at number three for Sri Lanka. Along with him and Mahela Jayawardene, Sri Lanka achieved many accolades. He was one of the finest batsmen to have ever played the game. One of the all-time Sri Lankan greats. And whenever time was needed, he even opened the innings in T20 internationals. But his, he was always a middle order batsman who played for Sri Lanka at number four. So definitely somebody to have in your team. My number seven would be MS Dhoni, and he would be my. He's from India, and he would be my captain plus wicketkeeper. He is, he led. He's I think he's the person who has had the honor of um, winning a T20 World Cup, a 50 over World Cup, IPL multiple times, um ICC Champions Trophy, Champions League T20. I mean, you can just keep on going. He used to bat at number 6, but he still scored 10,000 plus runs in one day internationals for India. He retired from Test crickets, but he continues to play the other formats of the game. He is known as the finisher because of his innovative skills, especially while chasing down heavy targets. So I would definitely have him at number 7. Now bowling. In bowling, I would go with 2 spinners and 2 fast bowlers. My first fast bowler would be Wasim Akram from Pakistan. He's known as the king of swing, so one of the greatest Pakistani bowlers of all time. And then my other fast bowler would be Courtney Walsh from the West Indies. Great player, along with Curtly Ambrose was, one of the most feared player in the 90s. And then my 2 spinner, one of them would be my leg spinner, Shane Warne from Australia. Greatest leg spinner to ever played the game. Was the captain of Rajasthan Royals in the initial edition of the IPL, where they won the championship. So great player. I think almost over 700 Test wickets. And then my number 11 would be Sahlain Mushtaq from Pakistan. He did not play a lot of cricket for a very long time for Pakistan, but whatever he played, he was an exceptional off spinner, best off spinner of his time. He even took a hat trick in one-day international cricket in 1999 World Cup. He took a lot of test cricket, almost close to 300 test crickets, I suppose. So definitely, somebody to have in your team with a lot of experience and variety. So this is my playing 11, guys. Did I miss anybody? 1, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Yeah. So this would be my playing 11. So what do you guys think? Feel free to share your comments, and if you like my video, click on the like button. Thank you, guys, and I will be back with another awesome video. Take care. Bye bye.